So hi guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome to our channel. I am continuing a series of conversations I'm having with my guest here. Her name is Mercy. So in this video, Mercy is going to tell us about a visa type, and I'm gonna let her explain. And the reason we're having this conversation, I think Mercy is an example of you can do things the right way. I think people always think that when you come to America, you have to be legal, you have to do things, like the shortcuts. But Mercy is such an example of, you know what, there's opportunities out there, and if you follow the rules and look for opportunities, you will find them. So Mercy, welcome one more time. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, please watch, because there's a story that built up towards where we're coming. So Mercy, you volunteered for, is it 3 months?
Oh, in total, until I got my papers, it was like almost 1 year.
Okay. So,
yes.
But initially you are to come here to volunteer for three months, right?
For 4 months.
Okay.
Yes, it was supposed to be a 4-month, just looking, seeing what they do. They see if they like me. Do I also like the kind of work? Yes. And then we apply for work papers. Yes.
Okay. So did they sit you down to say, oh my God, we love what you do. Now let's file for you work papers. Did they say that at all?
Yes. So what used to happen even during summer, we would have like weekly meetings. And, my boss was interested, like, how was your week? How was it? Was any challenges you've been facing? So like on a weekly basis, I would meet up with one of them and I would talk about how my week has been. Yes. So by the time, because the first summer camp was only 6 weeks, they already knew, oh, this girl is good and we're going to help her get her work papers. Yes.
So what is the work papers that they file for you? What is it called? What's the visa type that they?
So the visa type is known as R1, or it's a religious visa. So this visa is for people who are working or are in the field of religion. Yes. So because I have training and I've already worked in churches, so they want you to show that you have religious qualification. Religious qualifications could be, do you have a degree? Do you have a diploma? Or have you worked in a church setting? Yes. So those kind of things. Yes.
Okay. So what did they ask you? Did they hire a lawyer for you to help with this?
Okay. Yes. So since the church had never dealt with working with anybody international, and we wouldn't have known where to start, where to end, the diocese, because this church is an Anglican church and they have the diocese. So they had this lawyer that maybe had helped other people in the diocese. So somebody recommended this particular law firm to the pastor that I was working with. So we went to see the lawyer. Then now the lawyer took us through all the things that we need. You know what the process is like, what documentation should we have? Yes, and then now we were able to now go back, collect all those documents that we were asked to collect. Yes, and then now go back and now apply.
Okay, can you mention some of the documents besides, have you worked in the church? What else do they require?
Yes, so the other thing they require is that you must show proof that the church, like I'm a member of, number one, I have to show that I'm a member of a church. That's number one. Number two, they must show a link between the church that I go to and this church that is employing me, that they have the same faith. So the church I used to work in Lavington, it was begun by Methodists, Anglicans, and Presbyterian. That's why it's Lavington United. So it has the Anglican bit of it, and this other church was Anglican. So they just want to show that there's a connection between these two churches. So because we Anglicans, anyway, we have the same apostle creeds, the Lord's Prayer, we believe the same, majority of the beliefs are the same. So they wanted to show us what this faith believes and what this other faith believes, and then show what is the connection. Then the other thing, they also wanted to see that I had been trained. So R1 is very easy for if you are ordained. If you're ordained, very easy. But because I was not ordained, I just have, I just have qualifications. Like I've gone to school to study about theology or divinity. But like if you're already ordained, you have a plus. The R1 will be very easier for you because they also ask for proof that you've been ordained. Yes, then what else? Yeah, that was that. And then I had to show proof that I have volunteered. How many years have I been a member? And then I have just not been a member, Show us proof that you are an active member. Now in my church, I used to be very active. I was in missions. I was in the choir. I'm helping with the teens. I'm helping with the children. I'm helping with Bible study. So I had a lot of evidence to show that really I was actively involved in a church, doing church things. Yes. Yeah.
So who paid for your visa, lawyer? Did the camp, the religion or whatever, the church pay for it?
My hosts were willing to pay for it. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
So they paid for it. Yeah.
Okay. So how long did it take?
So we went, the whole procedure from beginning to end took about 6 months.
Okay.
Because initially, when we went to apply, the lady, remember, I was going to work for this church, but this church also ran an NGO that had an after school and before and after school. So the after school had the 501c status, like you are a charitable organization, but the church didn't. So that kind of pushed the system, because now the church had to apply for that status and then now be able to apply for my R1. So we started this because I went there in June. We started that procedure in June. So, but by October, we had all the paperwork, everything we needed, everything that I needed from the church to send me. Once we submitted the work, we submitted it end of October, and my visa was approved mid of April. So that was like about 6.5 months. Yes.
Okay. And now that's when you started working with the kids.
Yeah, now I could start. Now I could apply for a social security. I could open a bank account. I could do fingerprinting with the FBI. Yes.
So tell us the experience of working with children in America now.
My goodness. Now that was, in Kenya, I used to work a lot with teenagers. People you reason with, you're like, now your behavior, look at what you're doing. Now here, I'm working with 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Hey, some have tantrums like crazy and telling me I don't care to my face. It was, oh my God, I used to tell my boss, like, really, I am struggling working with children. But now I've already gotten my work papers. And as I said, the previous year, when I was volunteering in the kitchen, it gave me time to see, and I'm asking myself, Mercy, tomorrow when this child does this, what are you gonna do? This is not Kenya. You cannot pinch nobody's child. The only thing you do is I'm going to put you on timeout. Oh my God. Let me just say, if you're coming to work with children, you must pray for patience. You must pray for patience. You must figure out how, my boss used to tell me, Mercy, just figure out how to calm the child down. Because sometimes some children would have tantrums. Like, let me give you one particular example. We took kids to a park, to a zoo. Actually, it was a zoo. So because there's so many children, everybody has to wear a t-shirt. And this one particular child, a 5-year-old in my group, decided he's not wearing his t-shirt. But the camp rules are no t-shirt, you cannot participate in the game. So this 5-year-old tells me, I am not wearing my t-shirt. What you gonna do? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, we are all going to sit here and we're doing nothing. But in Kenya, I'm thinking, if I was in Kenya, no, this child, I would have pinched this, and the child would not even have dared. The child would not even have dared tell me that. But here, this is America. Eh? The child has refused to wear the t-shirt. So after a while, I told him, you know what? We are not going to move if you don't wear that t-shirt. And the child stands his ground. I'm not going to wear the t-shirt. So it's me versus the child. So I just picked up my phone. I told the lady who coordinates, can you come and pick this child? So when the child saw that I was not joking, that's when he was like, oh, she's not going to let me, get away with my tantrums. I was like, even if we wait here 20 minutes, you don't wear your shirt, we're not going anywhere. So you have to think, things that work in Kenya won't work in America. So you have to look and you are just like, okay, what can I do? So you have either to reason with the child or take very stern measures, like, okay, I'm calling somebody to come pick you up. Or I'm calling your parent. That's all you can do, because you're not caning nobody. I can't put him on timeout. And remember, I have 14 other children and we are like 3 of us. So, and I cannot be left. The rules here is that you cannot be left with one child by yourself. So the whole group now has to be sitting there waiting for the children. Yes, but it was really a challenge working with children. My God, the children here, I'm not saying Kenyans don't have tantrums, but I've never seen tantrums like this in my entire life. And then also the issue of, they can talk to you anyhow they want. I can tell you whatever I want, how I want.
You're not going to do anything.
Oh, no. What can you do? The only thing you say is, I'm going to put you on timeout or call in your parent. Yes.
So can
So
you tell my viewers who are
mhm,
watching for the first
yes,
time and they're not very conversant with American culture? So what
yes.
happens if you spank a child or if you pinch them in America?
Oh
What are the
my goodness.
consequences?
If you ever did that, you can be, actually there's something, a training we do that is known as reported mandating. You are mandated to report any case of child abuse. And spanking a child is considered child abuse in America. Actually, those are the trainings they do before even you work with any child. They take you through this. You have to sit in these long trainings on what is considered child abuse. So you come into Kenya, I used to, hey, my children, they used to know me. If some of them are listening, they'll tell you Mercy used to be tough. I'm a tough one. So, hey, they never used to joke with me. I'm there with my cane, not in America. That can't work. I cannot pinch anybody's child. And then my personality, because I used to see other people, they take the kids one-on-one. It's the here, you're shouting, I'm shouting, you're shouting, I don't shout. It's either I'm talking, you're listening, or vice versa. So the children used to know me, I'm not arguing with you. So it's either I'm the one saying and you're following instruction, okay? But then you realize American children, that is not working. So, but you just have to find a way on how to deal with children here who are not used to threats. I mean, first, don't ever threaten an American child because you're the one who's going to look, foolish. Because even if you say something, they'll be like, and, or whatever. Or like, I remember one time we told a child we're going to call the parent. Then the child was like, can I give you the number? So I'm just like, wow, these kids are on another level. So it's just funny. Yeah, you
So
just have to.
sorry,
Sorry.
yeah. So can you tell someone who is watching? So
Yes.
if you're accused of child abuse, so what happens?
Oh my God. I think, especially for us who are immigrants, oh my
Mhm.
God, I think you can be shipped back to Kenya.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I know we never had any issue of, but the other thing also, because I've known some of the parents that were either investigated. So somebody immediately will come and do a visit. They have to come and find research. And when they're doing this research, you cannot work with the children until maybe they find out either if it was true. And then if it was true, then they will tell you what
The
what
findings.
measures,
Yeah.
yes, they're going to take. So, especially if you're an immigrant, you could be shipped back.
Yeah.
So you have to know the American law. What does it say? And they teach you very, very well. We do a lot of trainings when you're working with children. Is that those things also you cannot be ever left with a child, because if this child accuses you of something and it was just the two of you, then nobody is there to back you up. Yes, so it's a whole, children here in America are very, very protected, very protected. Yes, you have to be very, very careful how you speak to them, what you tell them, because once they go report you, hey, somebody will have to come from the Department of Children to come and verify, is this the truth? Can there be a speck of just a little truth? So investigations has to be done. Yeah.
Wow. So that sounds like a big culture shock. So which takes me to my
Yes.
next question. Can you tell can you share with us some of your other culture shocks?
Other culture shock. Oh my God, the list is so many.
I know,
First,
right?
let's talk about also, I think also when I was working in the kitchen, my biggest culture shock was food wastage in America. My God, children waste a lot of food. Like you'd say, we serve children, and then, as I said, there has to be all the components for that to be a meal. So you have to give this child a carbohydrates, like a protein, milk. There has to be a fruit. So a child would just pick something, they eat it, they don't like it, the whole place is dumped. Now, I was working in the slums when I was working in Nairobi. My church was in a wealthy place, so we used to sponsor poor children. So these are children who would have only one meal in a day, or sometimes none, because the parents cannot afford. Then now I'm coming to an extreme, whereby the meals is provided. This child has breakfast, has lunch, has a snack, and having a dinner. Can even have to 5 meals in a day. And they don't like something, they just throw the whole food. So that was my first shock about how much food is wasted in America.
It almost hurts, right?
Was that?
It hurts.
I used to be like, oh my God, if the kids I used to work with, the families I was working with, they would never, even if you don't enjoy something, you don't know when you're going to get the next meal. But here, these children, they have all this. So, I mean, What's a big deal? Just throw. I don't like this. You throw it away. The other thing also, as I said, is working with the children and how vocal the children are. They will scream. Sometimes the children would like run away. Like I remember this one time I was teaching a Bible lesson and the girl was upset and then she ran and I had to run after her. And the bad thing is like this class was outdoor. So I have to run after the child and I'm teaching by myself. So I'm wondering, what do I do? I have other kids. I have to run after this other one. So I had to call another leader, like watch this group as I'm running. And the other kid is running and I'm here, me here running after this child. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this never happened to me in Kenya. Like I would go in a class, everybody is seated down. You know, the other thing was also a culture shock is like, okay, my family is very Christian. And from when we were very young, we were taught how to honor. Like when somebody is praying, you don't joke, you don't laugh, you're very serious. I would be there teaching Bible lessons. Hey, the kids sitting the way they want, they're screaming. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just that different culture here. You know, some of the kids don't even, have never gone to church. This is the first time they're hearing about God. So to them, they're like, who expects me to be, you know, well-behaved, proper? Then also there's the food. Culture shock also was in terms of food. You know, I'm so used to Kenyan food. Now I'm coming here, I'm being introduced to a lot of cheese, you know, food that is very sweet. I would find all the American sweets very sweet. The cereal, I never ate any American cereal. I would find it too sweet. Or sometimes I'd find the food very oily or salty. The weather, my God, where do I even begin? My first winter, oh my God. Oh, if you're coming to America and maybe your country, you don't have winter. I remember my first time because of so much cold, my ear blocked for a whole month and there's nothing. I went to the hospital, they told me, you'll just have to wait it out. And for sure, after like 1 month, it just cleared out by itself. And then communication is the other thing. You know, like Kenya is British. We follow British things because we were colonized by the British. So even how we speak. So sometimes I would have a different, you know, I'm trying to explain myself and I'm thinking, I'm communicating. And then the people are like, what are you talking about? Or vice versa. I'm wondering, what are these people talking about? Or just names of certain things. The British call it something, American call it something different. And you are thinking there, you're talking. And I'm like, so I'm trying to explain. So even sometimes I would have to spell out something. Let's just start with just my own name. In Kenya, my name is Mercy. Even in
Mercy.
Mercy. So
Mercy.
when I'm introducing myself, they're like, hi, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Mercy. They're like, what? I'm like, Mercy. They're like, okay, spell it. So I'm like, Mercy. Oh, then they say, oh, mercy. Because, you know, British don't pronounce R so much like the American, where there's an R. It has to be pronounced very well. Park, mercy, whatever you can think with the R, you know? So those are some of the culture shocks you get, you know? And even Kenyans are very warm. Let me say Africans. Africans are always in your business. Hi, you know, they're talking to you, but Americans, let me not say they are cold because they're not. It's just a different culture. You know, they're not very talkative. They're not very engaging as Africans. So you might come here and find, you might think, oh, they don't talk to you, but it's just the culture, the way it is, you know? Yeah. Yes. So those are some of the things. Yeah.
Wow, I so can relate to a lot of things. When you talked about prayer, I remember my first time when I came here and we had to pray.
Yes.
And then the kind of prayers that they make are so like jokingly, and then they laugh in the middle of prayer. And I wasn't used to that, you know? Yeah.
Yes, I'm not also saying that also the pets. Oh, how did I forget pets? Living with pets. Oh my God. My boss had a dog that stayed in the house. Now, I know people always wonder, but you guys have dogs. I'm like, yes, but our dogs are usually outside the house. So we were living with a pet. And then the room where I was living is like, we were two of us in the same room, although I had my own bedroom and the other lady had her own bedroom. But we used to have like a common bathroom. So whenever I'm going to the bathroom, I had to pass through her room and she had a dog. Oh my goodness. I used to be like, why am I living with two dogs in the house? Sometimes if you leave your food, you forget, the dog comes, eats your food. And that's how just Americans love dogs. Like a dog is like a family member. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that was something else. I used to be like, what? They really love their pets. Or sometimes we have to pray. My friend, maybe the pet is sick. So they are asking you, could you please pray for my dog? And I'm wondering, okay, so I'm going to be praying for somebody's dog. Okay. Yeah. So like, yes, as you're saying. Oh, then the other thing was one day, because, in Kenya, when you are saved, people expect that you don't drink and smoke, right? So this one day I'm working in the kitchen and we were with the deacon's wife. So she tells me, oh, I'm sorry, but I have to take a break. I'm going outside to smoke. Then I'm like, I'm sure they told me that's the deacon's wife. Where's the deacon's wife smoking? So smoking and drinking here, it's neither here nor there. So I'm like, oh, but in our culture shows us, if you're a Christian, there's certain things you should not do, or even like living together when you're not married. But then you realize, that's this culture. You don't want to come here and become like you're judging them or anything, but those are some of the things you have to ask yourself at the end of the day. This is permissible here, but it may not be permissible in my culture. So what are you going to go by?
Wow, I really like that. And it's making me think, okay, I really would like to have another conversation with you so that if there's an aspiring person watching,
Yes.
Since you successfully stayed with somebody and they hosted you, obviously you are able to win their hearts. And if somebody wants to do what you did, perhaps in future you can come here and talk about how to become, how to stay with someone,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's really important to know how to like please the people that have your future in your hands in a way, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So I know you told me you have to go somewhere. I feel like we can have another like 4 videos, but I really appreciate. Is there something else you want to talk about?
Yes. So yeah, as you are saying, though, we'll talk about it long. So community living was another challenge. Oh my God, that I think was my biggest culture shock. Because as I said, my employer used to offer me room and board, but it was not just me alone. So like my first summer, how many were we? I think we were about 8 people living in the same house. So all of us are working for the church, but we are housed in this big house. So we would all have our own rooms. So, but would share like the sitting room, the living room, the kitchen, where would our basement, where would do our washing. So I think also the other thing was just living with people, and they were all of them, by the time I went there, were Americans. So just living, and then you have to cook for yourself. We are not having like meals together. So I used to be like, oh my God, so everybody just go to the kitchen, you cook for yourself, you eat by yourself. Yeah, that was funny because in the Kenyan culture, though I had to later on realize, that was my family. So we are cooking once, you're not, but now here I'm living with strangers. So everybody has their own life. Yes. So yeah, that was a bit harsh. And especially, because I just moved from Kenya. I didn't know anybody in Pittsburgh. I don't have any friends. And then I'm living with all these strangers. And then everybody's keeping to themselves. So like I used to be lonely. That's the term. I used to be very, very lonely my first days there. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Guys, what do you guys think? What would you like Mercy to come back and talk about? Please put it in the comment section below. So to end this, before I end this conversation, Mercy, would you encourage the Kenyans or somebody out there who is listening and really wants to come to America? They don't have the finances to come here. They don't have the connections to come here. Would you say summer camp can be a pathway? Would you encourage them to try to come here as volunteers, as a beginning, as a start? Would you say that?
Oh, yes, I would. I mean, let me tell you, and especially if like your viewers are below 30 years, there are very many opportunities that you can come here and work in summer camps. Because even I had tried coming this year when my work visa got finished, and then I went back to Kenya. But then unfortunately, I got like a part-time job. I wasn't able to follow it seriously because summer camps in the US are always there. But now Corona, I hope Corona, gets finished so that traveling is not such a big deal. Yes, but if you are young, oh my God, like you in your 20s, I used to be like, why didn't I have this information when I was in my 20s? Because there's so many opportunities for summer camps or even churches that are looking for people to come and volunteer. And it's experience. You leave your country, you come, you see how other people live in another country. It exposes you. There's something it just does to your mind and to your dreams. You can dream bigger. And as I said, you don't need to know nobody. Just sit there on your computer if you have Wi-Fi, Google something. And then, but then sometimes the bad thing is that you might have to come up with the money yourself, like to go for the US embassy, when you're paying for the visa. I mean, those are things they never help you with. So you must have some little money for that. Yes, but I would encourage, especially if you are young. I mean, you're not married, you don't have children, you don't have a lot of ties. I mean, try. I mean, the sky's the limit. Yes.
And when you say you have to have some money, I think it's only, and I know saying only is actually relative, but
yes.
it's $160 to,
yes, for the visa, because I know
for the
and then also, because if you want to come and volunteer, people can register and get the J1 visa that allows you to come, and even for a summer camp. And remember, in this summer camp, they will pay you. So you will be able to get back some money, maybe for your flight or something of the sort. And you can find and spend time, start early. Like now we're in October, they will start doing this thing maybe from November, December.
for next year.
Yes, for next year. So you can start early, start Googling and finding out. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't want to let you go, but I have to let you go, right?
Oh, no. Yes.
So what is your YouTube channel? You want to tell our viewers what your YouTube channel is so that they can follow you?
So yes, I also have my own YouTube channel. My name is Mercy Makau. That is MERCY, then Makau, MAKAU. Yes, I talk about my experience in America and my travels, my faith, and also I'm also trying to become very healthy. My journey with that. Yes. Yeah. So check me out if you want, subscribe, or just look at my videos. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Mercy, for taking your time to come and speak with us. Guys, make sure you go follow her. She is an awesome lady. I love her and I don't know her.
Oh, yeah, I know. And thank you too for inviting me to your channel. You're also amazing. I look at your videos. I'm always just laughing. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yes, for the opportunity.
You're welcome. I'll see you in my next video, guys. Thank you. Make sure you interact in the comment section below. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.